Zhang Yi raised his forehead with his hand. He felt his head a bit confused. Could this thing only be explained by mysticism? Bian Junwu casually said, even God likes to roll dice, so it's no surprise that the world has turned out this way. Theoretically speaking, mutants can reach the ultimate level, which is the legendary level 6, the Omega level. This level only exists in theory and has never appeared in history. It is said that there is a type of mutant with infinite space development power, with no upper limit to their strength. Reaching that level would certainly mean godhood. While speaking, Bian Junwu suddenly put one hand down, the other covering his mouth as he coughed violently. The movement was so intense that even the table shook vigorously. Seeing this, Zhang Yi quietly moved himself and his chair back, and said, Mr. Bian, are you okay? Do you want me to help you call a doctor? Bian Junwu coughed for a long time before stopping. He lowered his hand, wiping away a bit of blood from the corner of his mouth with a calm expression. This scene did not escape Zhang Yi's sharp eyes. Bian Junwu casually said, no need, it's just an old illness. Seeing the strange look in Zhang Yi's eyes, Bian Junwu continued, I have a terminal illness and don't have much time left. He spoke with extreme calmness. He said, if it weren't for this, I wouldn't have volunteered to lead the team to handle such troublesome issues. Zhang Yi's heart stirred slightly. It was just as he thought. The current captain was indeed facing a serious health issue. However, whether his illness was natural or a consequence of his abilities, or if he was like others at the Qishan base, essentially a mutant created through technology, resulting in serious physical deficiencies, was uncertain. Doubts filled Zhang Yi's mind. However, he couldn't directly ask, as it was certainly a secret of the Jiangnan region. He could only offer comforting words. Medical science has advanced to this level now. Even cancer can be cured. Surely there isn't a terminal illness that can't be treated. Our doctor is the head at the First People's Hospital of Tianhai City. Let her examine your body, it might be effective. Bian Junwu looked at Zhang Yi silently. Then he spoke, you don't need to probe me. I am a dying man. This time I came here hoping that before I die, I can contribute more to the Jiangnan region. In return, after my death, my wife and children can have a better living situation. After speaking, he took off the sunglasses he always wore. His face was unnaturally pale, and his pupils were even whiter. It was a grayish-white color of illness, a kind of silent gray that filled his entire gaze. My power comes at the cost of my vision and health, he continued. That's why it's only classified as a delta level. If I had more time, I could level up and become epsilon. Its fatal flaw makes me a super assassin with limited uses. Do you understand? Zhang Yi confirmed his suspicions. As expected, Bian Junwu's power caused immense damage to his body, even shortening his lifespan. Zhang Yi was silent for a moment, then sighed, so that's how it is. But I didn't expect you to straightforwardly tell me about your ability. Bian Junwu didn't say much. His expression remained calm and cold as he replied, in the upcoming operations facing zombies in Tianhai City, we need your cooperation. Therefore, understanding each other's abilities is crucial. This is also to let you know that my power cannot be used indefinitely, it will accelerate my death. As the captain of the Jiangnan region squad, he wasn't worried that Zhang Yi would use his ability against him. Firstly, Zhang Yi wouldn't dare make enemies with the Jiangnan region. Secondly, he wasn't afraid of death in his current state. After saying this, Bian Junwu put his sunglasses back on and continued, now, I am almost blind. I rely entirely on this visual aid device to see. Everything I see now shows you as a vague human figure emitting a red glow. Zhang Yi nodded. Bian Junwu propped his hands on the table and brought up the topic he had mentioned earlier. Are you interested in trying out for the Jiangnan region? Your ability has great potential and could advance to become an epsilon-level mutant. The small city of Tianhai can only limit your prospects. Zhang Yi wasn't too interested in Bian Junwu's invitation. He smiled and replied, I'm not ambitious. I don't want to achieve great success or make a big career. I just want to survive well in the apocalypse with the people around me, and then wait for the world to restart, Zhang Yi thought to himself. Going to the Jiangnan region with you guys seems like running missions every day and fighting for survival. I don't want to idle away my time and create trouble for myself. Bian Junwu said, don't be in a hurry to refuse. The living conditions in Jiangnan are much better than where you are now. There, people can live like they did before the apocalypse. There's a city, roads, and bustling night markets. Hearing this, a picture appeared in Zhang Yi's mind. A flourishing city surrounded by walls of steel and concrete. On the streets, there were small stalls lined up, and many happy citizens strolling and shopping. For a moment, Zhang Yi truly longed to see such a scene again. Beyond Junwu continued to cite examples of the good life in the Jiangnan region, mentioning comfortable and pleasant apartments. Things Zhang Yi could never experience in Tianhai City no matter what he did. Zhang Yi was silent for a moment, then asked Beyond Junwu, "Is there a place as comfortable for hiding as mine?" The more Beyond Junwu tried to persuade Zhang Yi, the more distrustful he became. The apocalypse had arrived. If the central area of the Jiangnan region truly accommodated so many people, it would consume a vast amount of resources. Seeing Zhang Yi's lack of interest, Beyond Junwu added, "Tianhai City is not a safe area. It lies right on the coast of the East Sea. If the ice and snow melt in the future, this place might flood first. Moreover, there could be enemies coming from across the sea. Only the Central Plains region is the safest. Have you thought about relocating there?" Beyond Junwu's words made Zhang Yi frown and fall silent temporarily. Indeed, he might not care much about human factors, but he couldn't ignore the forces of nature. The Ice Age was caused by cosmic disturbances, and one day, a planet might return to its normal temperature. When that happens, Tianhai City on the coast could be submerged by the sea. But that's a matter for the future. Who knows what will happen after such a long time? The previous Ice Age lasted tens of millions of years. Zhang Yi frowned and replied, "Who knows what will happen in the future? We'll talk about it when the time comes." Seeing Zhang Yi's emotional conflict, Beyond Junwu simply smiled and didn't continue discussing the topic. The most important thing now was to resolve the zombie crisis in Tianhai City. He just needed to plant a seed in Zhang Yi's mind. When the time comes, perhaps Zhang Yi will decide to come to the Jiangnan region. After all, he didn't have much time left. Finding a good seed at the delta level was quite difficult. If, after his death, this seed could fill the gap in the investigation team, there would be nothing better. Next, the two discussed issues related to the zombies. Zhang Yi didn't hold back anything in front of Beyond Junwu. He shared all the intelligence related to zombies and rats. After finishing a glass of hot water, Beyond Junwu slowly stood up. "We've discussed everything that needs to be discussed. I won't disturb you any longer. If necessary, I'll contact you," he said, turning and heading for the door. Zhang Yi stood up and followed, saying, "If not, let's have a meal together." Beyond Junwu was genuinely concerned about some people wanting to stay. Although they admired Zhang Yi's hiding place, they weren't overly eager to stay. They had good living conditions in Jiangnan. After all, they were all people with quite high-level abilities. Beyond Junwu declined the meal. "No need. We brought our own rations, and we have work to do." The two then went to the living room. The space there was very quiet. The investigation team and the people in the shelter had nothing to communicate about, and the atmosphere was even a bit stiff. When they saw the two coming out of the small room, both groups seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Beyond Junwu said to his team, "We've rested enough, we should get going." Some team members, without hesitation, put down their teacups and stood up, thanking them for their hospitality. When Wu Di approached Zhang Yi, his eyes showed a clear fighting spirit. "Zhang Yi, if we get a chance next time, we should spar a bit." Beyond Junwu's high regard for Zhang Yi had caught Wu Di's attention. Moreover, from Beyond Junwu's words, Zhang Yi might become a member of their team in the future. Naturally, Wu Di wanted to assess Zhang Yi's abilities. Zhang Yi just smiled faintly and didn't reply. Beyond Junwu called him, "Now isn't the time. Don't trouble him anymore." Wu Di chuckled, scratched his head, and then followed the group out. Zhang Yi and everyone else watched them leave. Beyond Junwu and his team got into their vehicle, which then departed from the hideout. Only after they left did the people in the shelter start to discuss. Those people really carried a heavy aura of killing intent. Yes, just from seeing them from a distance, they were completely different from anyone we've met before. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and said to himself, "Luckily, they are not our enemies. Otherwise, our troubles would be much greater." Among these 7 people, Beyond Junwu's strength was undisputed. His terrifying ability couldn't be matched by anyone in all of Tianhai City, not even Zhang Yi. If caught unprepared, Zhang Yi would be killed. However, if given time to prepare, with his current defensive capabilities, he could completely withstand Bian Junwu's attack. At this moment, Yang Xinxin's clear and cold voice rang in Zhang Yi's ear. Only 7 people came to deal with the zombie problem? Perhaps it's not as easy as we thought. This is not good news. Everyone couldn't help but look at the intelligent and cold-eyed girl. Zhang Yi lowered his head, looking at her intently, and asked, Yang Xinxin, do you have any opinions? Yang Xinxin maneuvered her wheelchair to the front of the group. Her clear and cold eyes shone with intelligence. The Jiangnan region sent them here, surely trusting that they can solve the zombie problem in one go. They might only be the vanguard. Once they identify the root cause of the zombies, a large-scale military force might move in to occupy Tianhai City. At that time, the entire structure of Tianhai City will be altered, and we won't be able to avoid being affected. Zhang Yi nodded. This is entirely possible. Xu Chunlei worriedly asked, at that time, will we be driven out of the shelter? In Tianhai City, Zhang Yi could be said to dominate one area, occupying the Qishan district. His adversaries weren't strong, mostly just the city garrison. But the real strength of the Jiangnan region was not a small force. Besides their weaponry, they also possessed many powerful weapons of mass destruction. Destroying the hideout would be entirely possible. Moreover, in terms of soldiers and mutants, the Jiangnan region far surpassed the major forces in Tianhai City. Zhang Yi frowned. It certainly won't be like that, he said, but there was a hint of hesitation in his voice. Yang Xinxin spoke again. If that's the case, it's not even the worst outcome. The worst outcome would be if the investigation team found the scale of the zombies to be too large and wanted to thoroughly eliminate the zombie problem, but the cost was too high. At that point, the situation could become troublesome. Everyone's hearts couldn't help but pound. No one knew exactly how many zombies were beneath Tianhai City. If all the dead had become zombies, the scale could be in the millions. In that case, how the Jiangnan region would handle Tianhai City was evident. Zhang Yi suddenly remembered Bian Junwu's words. He suddenly understood. So that's it. The reason Bian Junwu invited him to Jiangnan was to leave him an escape route.